All right, cool. So I am very excited today to be going live on my Facebook and my Instagram. And today I have a special guest who has 13 years experience in business. And he actually has quite a story behind it because, like a lot of us in Australia, he's a migrant. So he's come from another country. I'll let him tell a bit about his story. And he's come over to Australia. Now he came over as, just confirm, proof. He came over from Scotland as a police officer. Then he had a few different roles inside of the police force. G'day Ian, how are you?
All right.
Good to see you. So we're just going to try and see if you can get onto Instagram as well. To be going live on my Facebook. All right. Good to see you.
The IT expert is coming in.
So we're just going to try and see if you can get onto Instagram Alrighty. as well. So I think we can get you on. If this works, I'm going to be very happy.
Two things happening here.
Okay, so I was introducing Ian and telling a bit about Ian's credentials, which are quite impressive. There we go.
Right. Not the thunder.
Oh.
So you're just going to have to
We got a
turn
bit
one
of
of the
feedback
volumes down.
happening.
So you're just going to have to turn one of the volumes down.
Got it.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, introduce you a bit more. So you have 23 years experience starting in the police force. Before that, you have a business degree.
Correct.
As well as now you have 13 years experience in the business industry, I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah, you've been doing your research.
I have. Hey, how are you going for back feed? Are you able to turn off the volume on one of the devices?
Yeah, it is off.
All right. We'll see
that.
how we go. So, Ian, thank you so
Yep.
much for coming on. I've prepped everyone a bit because today we're going to speak about the gig economy, which I know is something that you're so passionate about, as well as having a side hustle, having an additional income in today's modern world, and the importance of that. So, first of all, I've introduced you. I think I want to just hand it over to you. And yeah, if you want to introduce yourself with any other credentials or anything else that I've missed.
Oh, look, don't have many other credentials other than, probably a bit of life experience, I guess. And, coming from a background that I do, it does give you life experience. There's no question about that, which I think translates well into the business environment. So, probably bring, a degree of credibility as well as, that experience, which with what we do is very useful in helping people particularly develop themselves into a space where they feel comfortable to try new things. I've been very fortunate that I've had the opportunity to do lots of different things. And some of the things I've done perhaps would have defied a bit of logic, certainly, friends and family question some of the decisions, moving to the other side of the world, to a country I've never actually even visited, at a time when a lot of people are really settling into almost like working towards a retirement, and, the groove of everyday life that we all get kind of caught up in. Sometimes it becomes difficult to do things differently, and there's no right or wrong to that. But yeah, I guess I had the opportunity to try something new, and that's really invigorating. I did that by moving country. I did that again by leaving a very steady profession, starting up new business, leaving that business, starting up this business. So I guess the message with that is you should never be frightened of change. You should never be frightened of trying something different. You know, that old phrase, you do what you always did, you get what you always got, is, there's a lot to be said for that. So yeah, so I'm kind of driven with helping people make choices, I guess. So that's me.
So I'm quite biased because we actually work together, and you are one of the founders of Learn to Live Again, LTLA. So I see firsthand how many people you help, not only with your business experience coming into Learn to Live Again, having that as a foundation to help people and to build on, but also just through your commitment. And I think that's one of the formulas, isn't it? With any successful business person, online person, is the thing that they show up. You know, they just continually show up. And even if, you know, results aren't coming, but they're just working on that individual thing day by day, and they know if they're improving on that, that the results will follow.
Yeah, 100%. There is a saying that, you know, if you focus on the actions, you focus on the thing, and forget about the results, then it's just that consistent application that, like you say, the showing up every day, staying focused on the goal, you know, that sort of keep the main thing, and keep focused, be consistent. There will always be ups and downs. There will always be setbacks. It doesn't matter what you do. You know, that's not just in business, that's in life. Things rarely go exactly the way you want it. But if you stay focused on that long goal, then usually you get there. You just got to have the stickability to actually, you know, stay in it long enough to get there. But that applies in everything we do. So, you know, I guess the most successful business people ever will all have stories of how they failed before they got to that success. It's just hanging in there long enough.
Sure. And I know that traditional business, brick and mortar, mum and dad business is just so cutthroat. And I know that, for example, you have quite a lot of experience in traditional business. So you originally, I'd like you to talk more about it, but your business with your business partners, is that in the construction industry?
Yeah, it's very much in you know, construction, development, that sort of side of things. But the principles apply to any business. You know, most people don't have the opportunity to get into business. A lot of people love the idea of getting into business, you know, and the reality of the dream, or, you know, I'll own my own business and it will all be wonderful and we'll, you know, make a whole load of money, and the reality of it are very different things. A lot of people, the barriers to entry to traditional business, you know, in terms of being able to raise capital to start a business off, one of the biggest barriers is being able to still sustain yourself and your family whilst you're trying to build a business. You know, a lot of people try and build businesses part-time. You know, traditional business and part-time doesn't always work. So you kind of go all in, and the failure rate on businesses right across the board is, you know, really quite alarming. There's so many different statistics on that, but I read something relatively recently that it's of traditional business, 90% fail in the first year, and of the 10% that don't fail in the first year, 90% of those fail in the second year. And it's usually on average about 5 years before you actually make enough profit to take the initial investment back out. And of course, if your business fails and you've borrowed money from the bank don't turn around and go, don't worry about it. You know, you had a good crack. Don't worry about it. You just forget about it. They still want the money back.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why a lot of people, you know, don't have the opportunity to get into traditional business, which is one of the things that really attracted me to what we do, because it is so different and it gives opportunity to those that perhaps would never have it.
Absolutely. There's one thing that you told me, well, there's a few that you've told me that I'll never forget, but one thing that stood out then was that in my early days, when we were making, you know, X amount, and I had bills to pay and I was working another job full time, and you were saying, Tynan, if you're making any profit at all, you are doing better already than most businesses in their first 5 years.
Yeah.
Because most
Yeah.
traditional brick
That's
and
it.
mortar mum and dad business don't turn a profit in the first 5 years. Like, nada.
Yeah.
So,
And most people that start them, they'll work for wages, not for profit. So you start your own business, you still got to feed the family. So you've got to pay yourself a wage. But a lot of businesses, you only ever end up working for wages. So it's kind of no different from having a job, other than the fact that you have all the risk associated with it. You know, so yeah, look, there's a place for it. There's no doubt about it. And you know, a lot of people will be hugely successful in traditional business, and I think that will continue. But the landscape of business has changed. The way we do business has changed, obviously, with what's still going on in the world. I'm not sure it'll ever go back to how it was. You know, people, the new normal, that phrase that everyone's banding about, I think to a certain extent that will remain. And, you know, a lot of big businesses are recognizing that. You know, a lot of businesses are really shifting their focus from the traditional face-to-face retail or service provision to online. We're just used to it now. So I think that's the way ahead.
absolutely. Yeah. I think it's something that's been happening in the last, it's been ramped up in the last 5 years, but it's that part of business where you need to have an online presence. Non-negotiable, of course. And so many we saw at the start of, or the end of 2019, who were reluctant to bring a part of their business online. They're the ones that were just so affected throughout 2020. But I want to touch on your transition from traditional business then into online business. How did that come about?
Yeah.
So I know from your stories that you were so successful in your traditional construction business. Why did you then pivot to the online space and go all in?
Yeah, it's interesting. Our entire business model is based around a really simple principle, which is we have a good experience and we share it with other people. You know, and I always use the example of the new restaurant, the new cafe opens. You go there, you have a great experience. The next time you're speaking to friends and family, you tell them about it, and you pretty much end up saying, "Hey, you should go and try it." That's our business model. That's in essence, that is our business model. So from my point of view, you know, business was good, no question about that. From a health point of view, I was not the healthiest person on the planet, and you know, I was probably one of those people that you kind of think you're a little bit indestructible, and you put down a lot of things that are going wrong health-wise as I'm just getting older. That's how it is, and you kind of accept them. And my knowledge of health and healthy eating and all the rest of it was pretty poor. And yeah, you just kind of bumble on, and you know, you put bad choices down to lack of willpower and all those sort of things. So that was me, and you know, I then, as most blokes of my age, you get encouraged to go for your midlife health check, and that was a real wake-up call. And you know, I was on a pretty poor path that if I didn't do something about it, all these little niggly things, which we now know are symptoms of potentially much more serious issues in the future, that you just can't accept and live with, they're the things that you really need to be reacting to and doing something about before it's too late.
Yeah.
So, you know, I went through that, and you know, but paths crossed with Isha, and I was introduced to a whole new way of looking at life and living, and you know, that whole idea of life's too short not to enjoy yourself. Well, that's just nonsense. You can enjoy yourself and have a long and healthy life as well. So anyway, I then went on a program that Isha had created, you know, that she created over 30 odd years of traditional business. You know, talk about traditional business, where, you know, she was helping transform people's health, but on a one-to-one basis. So I went through that, and, you know, the transformation's astonishing. It really is. And, you know, not only physical appearance, but also, you know, just your energy, your just health markers, everything. But the really significant thing for me was, because it happens quickly, And I operate in, at that time, operated in an industry where it was all about going for lunch. It was all about meetings. It was all about, seminars and all that sort of stuff. But you could go a few weeks, a few months without seeing a whole lot of people. So I go through this physical transformation and health transformation, and then you see all these people you're not seeing for a couple of months, and it's like, oh my gosh, you look incredible. What have you done?
Yeah.
And then the next thing is invariably, oh, I need to do that, or my husband needs to do that, or tell me how you did this. So it's just that the realization that this is all about sharing the experience, but particularly the way we do it, it's also about people visibly seeing what you're doing and almost just kind of going, hey, I want some of that as well. So it just really brought home the power of that, the social affirmation of something that's good just by people seeing it. And then, when Ish would talk about, I could see however many people a week, and that passion to just transform people's lives, but the limitations of traditional business being the way it was. And then with her connection with a product supplier, the logical progression was we just need to take this online. We take this online and build a team of health mentors, none of whom need to be, qualified in any way, because it's really just about sharing. We can help countless thousands of people across the globe in exactly the same way that Ish used to do it, one-on-one. So that was enough for me to realize this is the way ahead. This is, the whole health issue, the global issue of overweight and, all the associated illnesses with that, which is only going to get worse and worse and worse. Yeah. It just made perfect sense. It really made perfect sense. So it was a good time for me once again to make a big life decision and to give up what I was focused on for a new direction. And I guess for me, the driver is, if I can help people get healthy and live better lives and be the best version of themselves, and I can also help people just get a little bit extra money into the family budget each week, or if they really want to try and build a big business, I can help them do that, particularly where they may not have had the opportunity to do that before. Then that for me is a lot more rewarding than just working in a business where it's all about the next deal and the next profit and all the rest of it. So that's where we ended up. And yeah, we've really just started. So it's a pretty exciting time for us.
Big time. Yeah, I'm very much a part of that journey. So
yeah, indeed.
It is very exciting. But yeah, just that transition, I think a lot of other professional working people like yourself who have seen success in business, and they know the overheads, and they know the stress involved, and they know the back of house things that you have to do, traditional business, which aren't pleasant. You got to pay staff, you got to do overheads, all of that. I've seen more people moving into that, having another income online. And there's other incomes. So like, for example, you could work time for money, which is Uber, or, what else? You've got other gig economy jobs, right? Alcohol delivery online, but you're still only replacing time for money. So it's, I think logically to find a industry where you can get leverage, I think that's the key. And that's what we do in social retail. And I guess you out of everyone can really touch on that. But yeah, would you like to touch on that at all?
Yeah, I mean, the whole gig economy, which, it's nothing, the gig economy is nothing new. It's just got this name, the whole gig side of it, but it's been around forever. That whole idea of, it's essentially, it's on-demand working. It's where you're matching a demand from an employer with a workforce that's available with a skill set and an ability to deliver to meet that demand. So if you think about traditional business where you employ staff, you've got to keep feeding the staff in terms of you've got to make sure there's enough work coming in, there's enough projects, and if you're going through a quiet period, you've still got the overheads of staff and superannuation and blah, 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 all those things. So the whole on-demand thing, so more and more employers are, rather than employing staff, they'll do it on a, you know, an independent contractor basis. So we're quiet for the next 3 months, no problem, don't have staff overheads, but we've got these big projects coming up, so we'll outsource and, you know, get the staff we need to deal with that. And in essence, that's the whole premise of the gig economy, is you being able to match your skill and ability to that opportunity to earn income for it. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the gig economy jobs are very much trade your time and effort for reward. The difference being that you can now more do that on your terms. You know, all these,
Sure.
you know, you go to something like TaskRabbit, that, you know, it's owned by IKEA, the website. So, you know, if you want to go and you know, assemble people's IKEA furniture because everybody hates doing it themselves, you can do that. You can offer your service, and somebody goes, hey, I've got this new wardrobe to come around, I'll pay you for it. Or lawn mowing, or dog walking, or whatever it is. So you can do it on your terms, which is wonderful. And you know, the events of 2020 and still going on make people realize that maybe that premise that, you know, you've got the job and you've been there a long time, therefore it's secure. All of a sudden it's like, oh, maybe it's not. So diversity of income is becoming more and more important for people. But it's not just diversity, it's also flexibility that people want with that. And, you know, that's where, you know, there's 1,000,001 different things you could do to earn income. But it's no different to, you know, when you think back to like when the shipyards, so the shipping industry was huge worldwide. At the docks, people would turn up every morning at the dock gates in the hope they would get work. If the ships had come in, they needed unloaded. And that's exactly, we just do it online now. You know, we say, hey, I'm available, I can do this, do you have a job for me?
Yeah.
And but still, a lot of those depend on having some form of skill or resource even. So, you know, like Airbnb, obviously everybody knows, if you've got spare room, rent it out, great. You need a spare room for a start, but you're still also relying on people wanting to live there at that time. Like Uber drivers, exactly the same. You're trading your time and money, but you're still dependent on people wanting to get from A to B in your proximity when you happen to be working. And you know, if you don't have a car, but I saw, I hadn't heard of this. If you want to be an Uber driver, but you don't have a car, you can still be an Uber driver, because there's now a gig economy rising up with all the people who have had to work from home, but they've got the car sitting in the driveway.
Yeah.
You can now rent your car out to somebody to do car share, or Uber drive, or Uber Eats, or all that sort of stuff. You do need a car, and apparently you need $1 million of public liability insurance. But nonetheless, you know, there's an example of how diverse the way of earning income is. And again, I guess so. You know, we've kind of tapped into the gig economy. The difference being that it's you're running your own business with us, but it is still very, very aligned to the gig economy in that you can do it when you want. You can do it with virtually no barrier to entry. You know, the cost of starting up your own business is virtually nil. It is nil in some countries. And you can set your own pace. You can, you know, if you're busy, you don't need to do it. If you're not busy, you've got time you can devote to it. And you know, you get paid weekly. In some countries, you get paid, I think, twice a day doing this. So it's very much akin to time and effort meets reward, but you're doing it on your terms. But you're also, the difference being, a bit like the independent contractor, you're running your own business to do that, and that's what makes it really appealing. And the other thing I saw in, I think it was in Forbes magazine, just the other day actually, they were going through the list of what the top gig economy jobs were, and the number one is a telehealth provider, which I thought was really interesting. So
Telehealth.
again, with everything, telehealth provider. So in other words, you think the whole gambit of health provision, health and wellness, all the way through from, you know, doctors, health professionals, through to you know, yoga instructors, you know, everything you could think of, providing that online, because people are, you know, can't leave their home, or they're just used to online. But the, you know, the health and wellness industry online is the #1 gig economy job in terms of return on effort and investment. So I thought that was really interesting, because, you know, essentially that's what we do.
Yeah.
We were doing it before all this kind of started. So, you know, it's a good space to be in.
Which is basically making health accessible for everyone. You know, it's being a bridge from
Absolutely.
practitioners, information that's taught in clinics, now putting that in a space where everyone can have access to it.
Yeah.
Which is so
100%.
new age. That's the most new age thing. Another thought I had when you were speaking just then was about how simple having an extra $200 a week into the family budget over 12 months, that's an extra $10,000 a year. So if you're only earning $60,000 a year in your job, with that additional income, that part-time, that side hustle, you know, that's now you're earning $70,000.
And that makes such a big difference for so many people, just those little things. And I guess that's why, you know, I love what we do, because it can cater for exactly that. You know, and a lot of people who come to us are essentially people who did what I did, that I transformed my health, and lots of other people went, wow, I need to do that as well. So they then start, you know, referring back to that. And then it's, you know, really the conversation is, do you realize that you could actually get paid for doing this? Let's set you up with a business center. You know how easy this is, because you've been through it. You know what mentoring is all about. It's so simple, but you can benefit from that financially, and you can help you continue your health journey and help your family's health. And for a lot of people, it's, you know, understanding the importance of ongoing, you know, nutritional supplementation, the use of live clean products rather than, you know, deodorants that are full of aluminium or what have you. So for a lot of people, it's a natural progression. They almost kind of start a business by accident, really.
Yeah.
And really, all they really want to do is just, do you know what? I just want to earn enough money to pay for those products, because I love being healthy and I want to maintain that forever. Other people, it's exactly as you said, it's that extra $500 that just means that we can go out a couple of times a month and not worry about it. Or, you know, I can buy the kids a new pair of trainers, or it's, you know what, I want to earn $4,000 a month, because I want to take the kids on, you know, that if we ever get to travel again, on that 6 months European holiday that I always dreamed of doing, or pay for the school fee, or whatever it is, you know. And then at the other extreme is people who say, you know, I get this, I really get this, and you know, I've got the business drive, and I really see it, and I'm going to put the effort in. I'm going to play the long game, and I'm just going to keep going and build a business. And you can, you know, build an amazing business by doing that. So the diversity of that's really appealing, certainly for us. And if you think of that in comparison to traditional gig economy jobs, there's only so many IKEA wardrobes you can assemble in a day, and you get paid for that. So they maybe don't give the same flexibility and you know, diversity of opportunity that maybe we can offer, which is cool. And if we can do that just by helping people get healthy, that for me ticks a lot of boxes.
Absolutely. It's I use this word a lot, and I guess it's a little bit I wouldn't say aggressive, but what we're doing is revolutionizing in how we do make, #1, health accessible for people, and #2, time freedom, being able to work from home. Right now, Innie and I have been able to move states, and we work from home, and sometimes it feels a little bit too good to be true. But what I'm thinking at that same time is people should have access to this. This isn't an exclusive club. This isn't like a far out thing that's like, well, they're doing it, I can't do that. No, I grew up in sales. That was my job. I studied tourism at university. So the point of what I'm saying is that it is possible, and this is an emerging economy. You know, it is something now that, whether it is sooner or later, like the brick and mortar business bringing their business online, it's something that you're going to have to think about. So then it comes to, okay, what are you going to choose? Are you going to trade your time for money?
Yeah.
You're going to drive Uber in your spare time, rent out a bedroom Airbnb, or are you going to look at other alternatives, which is what we offer? That other alternative, which is around the holistic health, natural medicine, you know, backed by naturopathy, which is Isha Dwight. So we become then a bridge to Isha, to then help our people who join the business to find their own customers. So we set up through our systems so they can then find their own customers.
That's it. It's everything's provided, so it's really, there is no barrier to it. To anyone can do this. Absolutely, anyone can do this. And like I said, a lot of people actually join us almost by accident, just because the focus is just on helping people, and then because it's so visible, the natural progression just happens that way. But it is, you know, I think it is important that people do think about what it is they want to try and achieve, you know, and think beyond just that short term, I need cash, I'll do anything for it. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But a lot of those opportunities will not lead to a long-term sustainable, you know, source of income that goes beyond just the hours that you put in to doing whatever it is you do. And that's where, you know, a lot of people maybe don't naturally think about what we do. Really interesting that our product supplier have done, you know, pioneered this entire business model, and it's the one that everyone else is kind of chasing. They've done quite extensive research in the gig economy with people who are participants in the gig economy, and also those who are thinking about it. You know, I need to get extra income, and they're looking at different ways of doing that. What I found was fascinating was, of all the people that were surveyed, only 3% of them associated what we do with the gig economy as a legitimate way to earn additional income. That is huge. 97% of people out there looking for additional income are not thinking about what we do as an option. That's massive. You know, so it's up to all of us to really just kind of get that message out there as, here is an alternative. Here's a very, very, very viable alternative that is really kind of, you know, it's based on something that's of great worth.
Yeah.
Helping people get healthy and have a better life is really worthwhile. So that, you know, when I read that, I thought, wow, you know, we've not begun. You know, because there are so many people. Is it something like 50% of the world's working population will have some form of side gig? I don't like the word side hustle, as you know, side gig, additional source of income by, I think, 2027. And if we're only taking up 3% of that at the moment, wow, look out, because, you know, we just need to get the message out there more and more. And, you know, that's such a great opportunity to just broaden what we do and help more people, not only with their health, but with that additional income or business opportunity.
Absolutely. Ian, thank you so much for joining me today, you know, both on Instagram
pleasure.
And also on Facebook. This
this
conversation was really valuable. So just for anyone that wants to find you, where can people find you? So first of all, I know through your website, learntoliveagain.com.au.
Yep. Or, I mean, Facebook, everything's kind of, because it's all online, it's Facebook's a kind of main platform we use, Facebook, Instagram. But yeah, just Google Learn to Live Again, LTLA, and yeah, you'll find us there. Flick us a message, and you know, always happy to chat with anyone who just wants to know more about what we do. It's because of the journey that I've gone through and the decision that Ish and I have collectively made, that we're in this to help as many people as we can. The more people we've got working with us, the more people we can help. So yeah, give us a yell. Love to chat with anyone.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. So I'm sure I'll have you on in the next couple of months, and yeah, we'll continue that conversation.
No problem at all. Good to see you.
Thanks, Ian. Bye for now. Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye.